Our guest today is Steve Rooks, a former dancer with Alvin Ailey Repertory Ensemble and a principal dancer with the Martha Graham Dance Company. A choreographer with numerous accolades and awards for his work, Steve is the current chair of dance and resident choreographer for Vassar College. And we are thrilled to be speaking with him. Welcome, Steve. It's great to have you here.
It's certainly great to be here, too.
Yeah, you danced in a lot of places, too, didn't you?
It was an exciting run. I was very, very fortunate to have been dancing a very rich time and got an opportunity to see a good part of the world, not because I was the grandest dancer on earth, but has amazing circumstances with a phenomenal company.
So you did dance with two of the most renowned modern dance companies in the world. What can you tell us about your experience with these companies that shaped you as a dancer, as a teacher, as a choreographer, and perhaps that shaped you as a person?
It was kind of a Cinderella journey, if I'm really honest. I started dancing rather late. In fact, I wasn't even dancing during my college years. I was a music major, but saw the Dance Theater of Harlem in college. And once the curtain went up on that company, it just changed my life. It was an epiphany. And I started getting very interested in dance, graduated from Dartmouth College, and then started taking classes at my hometown in Washington, D.C. It was at that time that a choreographer and former dancer with the Paul Taylor Company saw me, Greg Reynolds. And he suggested that, hey, why don't you give dancing a shot? You have some talent there, maybe it'll work out for you. So his suggestion was that I audition for a scholarship at the Alvin Ailey School. And at that time, I had only been dancing a year. And so I'm guessing the natural, the chances were pretty slim. But I did it anyway, and I ended up getting a full scholarship. So I went from dancing from 5 classes a week to dancing 18 classes a week. The first month, I lost 20 pounds. I was living with 4 other guys in a studio apartment in the Upper West Side. The real starving artist routine. But it was an amazing program there at the Ailey School. I mean, Alvin was alive at the time. Some amazing dancers there. And so it was in an environment where you were able to really see by example these people who are really doing great art and great leadership in the faculty and in the junior companies that I was in.
And was that kind of an inspiration for you to do what you do now, just that period?
Absolutely. Being at the Ailey School whet my appetite for the Graham technique. And I ended up getting a scholarship for the Graham School while I was actually performing with the Alvin Ailey Second Company. Through another chain of events, I was in a workshop performance at the Graham School. And Martha Graham and Ron Protas saw me perform, suggested that I learn one of her ballets just to see how it goes. So I learned the yellow variation of Diversion of Angels, and they invited me to join the company. So that's when I began there. So from that point on, I would say the bulk of my career was with the Graham Company, and it definitely had an impact on how I see dance and how I progressed over the years.
And you're in such a wonderful place now at Vassar. I'm sure that your experience of your career and your life and the people you worked with, they get richer experiences because of that.
Well, certainly it's informed how I teach. The technique classes that I do here, whether the beginning level or the more advanced, all are informed by the experience with Graham. And also, I'm the resident choreographer, so also bring that influence in the work that I do. Have some really receptive students, and it's made it a pleasure to be able to kind of pass the baton, as it were, to a new generation.
Given your tenured experience in both artistic and academic realms, in what ways do you think arts education needs to be improved? How do you inspire those students to be creators to advance the arts conversation?
We're at a time now where life and our culture is expanding. Social and political and cultural issues are being addressed in the arts. And so there's no two ways about it. I think also coming out of this pandemic, people are really thinking a lot more about the noun of dance as opposed to just the verb of dance. For instance, like in a lot of the pieces that were choreographed by students here this year, a lot of them dealt with social issues. So those aren't going to go away. And I think being aware of that is important. However, having said that, I'm hoping in the process that we don't lose the craft of creating dance. I think there has to be a balance. I think it's important that, people have ideas and they express them and they express their hearts. That's the beauty of being an artist. But I do hope that in the process that the trabajo, the work, the skill doesn't get compromised, that we don't forget about the development of the skill of dance too, so that they both go in hand, because we've got some extraordinary dancers coming up now, and we have some extraordinary ideas, and I just hope that there is a good marriage between the two.
I love that you said that. There are so many things going on right now that you want to advocate for and to bring awareness to and all, but it does have to go hand in hand, and that one's not going to overtake the other, that the skill of dance really does play a major role in that. Absolutely.
That's what, for lack of a better word, turned me on to dance. It was something about the physicality, and the idea of movement. I just hope that people can have that experience with dance, because I think that's the hook. I think really it's the idea of being able to just be, not only with the ideas of dance, but the physicality of movement, where just the idea of seeing your body do something and it being express itself, it's exhilarating.
So what do you feel are the challenges and opportunities to prepare professional dancers for performance careers in a climate where, especially this last year, where live performance has been so difficult and digital performance, digital dance has become more important?
Digital dance is not going away. It was something that I think really blossomed during the pandemic, but it is now just redefined what dance is going to look like now. Also, just the advent of Zoom. Artists would have to fly to the other side of the world to do master classes. Now you can just send a Zoom link, and even though it's a modified connection, you now have a broader access too. So in some ways, the access of dance has broadened, even if the space where it's happening is somewhat limited right now. So we have both things going on. We have this spreading out of information and images, and with the things that you're able to do with cameras now, you're able to really see the poetry of movement. Some images in slow motion are just really rhapsodic. If you go to a live performance, you're not going to be able to see that too.
Absolutely.
So there's that duality as well. I think that this pandemic has fostered a new level of creativity. There's some artists that I'm looking at now that are doing amazing things. There's Mike Tyus, who's been doing things in California. Jacob Jonas, The Company in California. I've seen other artists that aren't as renowned just doing these great things with film. And it's not just a video camera filming someone dance. It's just where that lens is giving you a whole nother experience. And I think you're going to find there's more and more universities going to start having dance for film or choreographing for the camera. So we have to address that too. But I also hope in the process we don't lose the beauty of live performance. And even though doing site-specific dance and open-air performances may continue to grow, there's something about the mystery of going into theater and just seeing a performance, and you just have that moment to absorb.
The dance world is undergoing a huge reckoning with equality and inclusion, themes that are long overdue their rightful attention, especially in the dance world. In your personal opinion, what should we do better, or what do you hope to see within your lifetime?
I'm happy that injustices are being addressed, and I think that that's a great thing. My hope is that in the process that people are able to meet at a plateau of conversation. And this is what I mean. I think it's important that people who have had injustices served to them, that they're rectified and that we make a genuine effort to do so. But I also, in that process, that people who have not really been aware of things are also brought to a place where they're able to be educated and have an understanding, so that moving forward, we can be at a place where there's greater communication and greater equity. I know that there have been years where a lot of artists of color, for instance, haven't had the opportunities that were, in many cases, they were due. And I believe there's an awareness of that inequity, and people are really making strides toward that. But I'm also hopeful that in the process, there's greater communication. It's not one side winning over the other. I don't think that's going to work. It really is going to take some conversation and community, and really understanding that at the end of the day, we're really talking about art. And art is so universal. Dance is so universal, and it belongs to all of us. And I think remembering that is going to be really, really important. I think that we have the ability to be able to do that.
Wow, goodness gracious, your students are so fortunate to have your voice and to have your graciousness and kindness, but awareness as well. That's just tremendous. Thank you.
Well, great. It's been great. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.